This is number 1 from page 263, lesson 7.2, finding complex solutions of polynomial equations. The directions said, find all zeros of p of x. Include any multiplicities greater than 1. That just means if an answer appears more than once, make sure you show or write down that the answer appears more than once. And when it says find all the zeros, it means determine what value of x will make the equation equal 0. Start by finding the positive and negative factors of the constant. So the positive and negative factors of 4 are 1, 2, and 4. Then find the positive and negative factors of the leading coefficient, which is the coefficient of the term with the highest exponent. So the positive and negative factors of 3 are 1 and 3. Now find the quotients, which is every possibility of dividing every factor of the constant by every factor of the leading coefficient. So start with the 1. We will divide 1 by 1 and do 1 divided by 3. 1 divided by 1 is 1. 1 divided by 3 is just 1/3. Do not use decimals. We're done with the 1. Go on to the 2. 2 divided by 1, 2 divided by 3. Four divided by 1, 4 divided by 3. So this is a list of all your possible rational zeros of the polynomial function. That doesn't mean that all of these numbers are actual roots of the function or zeros. Roots and zeros mean the same thing. So you never want to choose or try to determine if one of these actually work for a number that's too low, even though it could work, or a number that's too high. Start somewhere in the middle. Because I have 2 minuses in my problem, I'm going to try a positive number. So I'm going to try positive 2 in synthetic division. Use the coefficients of the dividend, no variables, and perform synthetic division. So because we have a remainder of 0, then we say that 2 is a 0 of the polynomial function. We say that it works. So take the numbers under the line to write your new polynomial. Whatever the original degree was, come down 1 less than that. So it will be 3x squared. Decrease your exponent, minus 4x plus 2. And because we're trying to find the zeros, you set this equation equal to 0 to determine which other 2 x values make the equation equal 0. You cannot solve by square roots. You cannot solve by completing the square based on how I taught you. I'd already tried factoring by slide and divide, and it does not work out. So we're going to solve by the quadratic formula. Identify your a, b, and c. If there's a minus, the number is negative. And use the quadratic formula. Opposite of b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Plug the numbers in. The opposite of b. It's already going to start the formula with a negative. Then plug in your negative 4 to make double negatives. Plus or minus symbol, the square root of b squared. Remember, anytime you raise a negative number to an exponent, you have to put that number in parentheses, or you will not have the correct answer, especially in the calculator, over 2 times the a number, which is 3. Double negatives make a positive 4. 4 squared, or negative 4 squared, is 16. So the square root of 16 minus 4 times 3 is 12, times 2 is 24. we can subtract 16 minus 24, negative 8. And you have to think, can I simplify the square root of 8, or is there a perfect square that divides into 8? Yes, there is. So the perfect square that divides into 8 is 4, square root of 4. And factor out your negative 1. 4 times 2 gives us 8. And simplify. The square root of 4 is 2. Bring down the square root of 2. And the square root of negative 1 is equivalent to the letter I. But we're going to move the I in front of the radical. So 4 plus or minus root negative 8 over 6 equals 4 plus or minus 2I root 2 over 6. And finally, look at your 3 constants and coefficients, ignore the number in the radical, to see if they have a greatest common factor. And they do, which is 2, so divide each number by 2. You're left with 4 divided by 2, plus or minus. 2 divided by 2 is 1, which will be an understood coefficient, so we don't have to put the 1. I root 2 over 3. So my zeros are these two values, because remember that means 2 plus I root 2 over 3 and 2 minus I root 2 over 3, so that's 2 zeros. And the other one is the number that worked in synthetic division. So whatever exponent you have as an original degree, that's how many answers you will have, zeros or roots. So my first root is 2. My second and third were 2 plus or minus I root 2 over 3, so I'm going to bring that to my answer, separating them by commas. And those are my 3 zeros. This was number 1 from page 263, Wednesday, March 18th.